we are. We're now live. Um, Hello, everyone who's tuning in. I'm going to wait just a few seconds so people can get the notifications on whatever devices they're on and join this stream here. There we go. So, welcome to this webinar stream here. My name is Drew. I'm on the social team here at Tag Digital, and today I'm going to be talking to you about a very interesting platform, one that's fairly new in the world of PPC, but one that is definitely important and should not be ignored, and that would be Tik-Talk. So if you look on the screen, you can see a QR code and a number. That's where you can scan that code or enter that number into the prompt on sli.do to ask any questions you may have for me and to interact with this webinar. I'm going to leave this up here for a little bit, so just to make sure that this isn't missed. The QR code will also be in one of the corners of every slide. That way, if you're a bit late tuning into this stream, then you'll be able to log on to that, see any questions, answer, ask any questions. So I'll just wait a minute, make sure that getting logged in there. So I wanted to start off this stream by asking a question, which is, have you ever used TikTok personally or professionally? Got one answer here for yes. Pretty much everyone saying yes to this question. It's an interesting one, though unsurprising considering how popular TikTok is, both in personal and professional spheres. Okay, so it looks like the overwhelming majority here is going to be yes, that you've used TikTok to some degree, whether that would be in your free time or on a professional level. And that's pretty interesting because a lot of people consider TikTok just a platform that can be used, that's just for entertainment value or something that's more of a B2C level, but that's actually quite far from the case. And today I'm going to explain to you why that is. So I want to first talk about the app itself, the TikTok app that you can download, install on any one of your devices, as you know. So TikTok, if you're not already aware, I'm sure most of you are aware considering the responses on that poll, it's a social media platform which exclusively hosts video content. These are short form videos, quite similar to how Vine used to be, if you remember Vine. However, the original focus of TikTok was on music. As you can see in that example image on the bottom left above the menu tab, the menu bar, you can see a little music icon with promoted music. That's because the original emphasis on TikTok was for that purpose and for users to be able to interact with their favorite musical content. This is still a focus of TikTok. However, I would say it's much less pronounced than it used to be. TikTok also has more monthly app installs than Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So that's suffice to say that its popularity is more than just immense, it's overwhelmingly so. In terms of TikTok's user base, there are 30.8 million daily active users just via iOS alone. And there's already over 1 billion users globally. So that is, goes without saying, that's a huge audience. And something that you might have already heard about TikTok is that it is an incredibly popular platform among younger demographics. Over 70% of active users fall within the 16 to 24 age range. However, as I'll discuss later, that doesn't mean that TikTok should be ruled out if you're going for a bit of an older audience or users at a business level that are more senior. In terms of the content itself, on the left here, I have yet another example of a TikTok ad. This is one that we've ran ourselves at Tag Digital. At the top, you get your ads or any content will be shown on the For You page. And this is content that you either follow or this is content that TikTok will recommend to you based on your profile and interests. On the right-hand side, you have the profile image of whatever user or business the content is coming from. And I emphasize this later, but TikTok can actually create a quote-unquote fake profile for you if you're advertising on the platform, similarly to how Instagram does it. As some of you may know, Instagram is just a placement within Facebook ads. And if you don't actually have an Instagram page, or TikTok can essentially create one for you. So when you click that, it won't really lead to anything. All that really the focus is on the link or whatever action the CTA is attempting to get you to do. You also, in the bottom left above the menu bar, have display name, the text that's been inputted, and a call to action button, which then leads to either form or website or whatever the ad is specifying. In terms of this content, videos can be created within the app. That's very encouraged on a consumer level, but also on a business level. One of TikTok's major points that they make with their ads is that you don't want to just create videos, you want to create TikToks. And I'll go into this a bit more in depth later. But for now, what's important to know is that TikTok is encouraging users to interact directly with their app in more ways than just consuming the content. You can create videos within the app, but also videos can be uploaded to the platform, provided that the aspect ratio is a story size or 9:16. There are a number of best practices as well with TikTok ads, but I've chosen to highlight 3 in particular that I feel are the most important. The first would be that you want to give the video full focus. Users are going on TikTok for the videos, obviously, as that is the primary focus of the platform. And as such, you want that content to be king. You want that to be most of what users are seeing, considering if you look at the screenshot, that the video is taking most of that screen real estate up. Any text that you're writing in is going to be on the smaller side and usually cut off to some degree. So if you have messaging, you better make sure that that video is highlighting it. The second, and this ties into the focus on video, is to clearly communicate your call to action. You usually will want your video to display this along with the actual call to action on you want to, if you have, say, shop now as this ad is doing, you will want that to usually appear within your video. And if you're wanting different messaging at different stages of the marketing funnel, like remarketing versus new users, this can be a bit of a challenge. But if it's done correctly, then your videos will usually perform well. And last but not least is that you want your video content to be authentic. It's similar to platforms like Reddit, where the focus is on community. The focus on TikTok is the content. It's on that value. And if the videos feel too corporate or too to like you're being advertised to instead of showing off some unique aspects of your event, then they're not going to do well. So it's important that content is authentic and genuine on the platform. And an important point now that I want to highlight is that all of these factors, the video, the kind of engagement, and the entertainment value of these videos lead to TikTok being a very strong platform for awareness. That is one of the most, that's one of the best performing optimizations that you can have your ads tailored towards. I show examples of this later on in the slideshow, but it's been proven that TikTok is a very good platform in this regard. And speaking of which, a perfect transition to now talk about the platform. If you'll give me 1 second, I'm just going to check that the Slido is actually working. Okay, there we go. So the platform itself, the screenshot below is showing just TikTok's ad deck that you get when you're logging on to TikTok ads. You'll see a lot of familiar features here, a very similar ad manager to the likes of Facebook or LinkedIn. And similar to those platforms, TikTok also has placements on their audience network. The example campaign here is running just 2 audiences, an interest level at the top of the funnel, and base remarketing. And in terms of the different objectives that you can optimize for, similar to Facebook and LinkedIn and other platforms that are more commonly used, they're similar events. You can see that most of the goals here are similar, if not the exact same. The only difference is being that on TikTok, you can optimize for reach, but not brand awareness. Brand awareness in particular on Facebook, meaning that your ads are going to be shown to individuals who are more likely to remember your ads versus reach being just trying to get as many people as possible to view your ads. And then all of the engagement or consideration ads are the same. And in terms of conversions or downloads or sales, you can't optimize for message ads on TikTok because unlike Facebook, there's no message feature on TikTok. And you can't also optimize for product sales in the way that you can on Facebook with the catalog. In terms of targeting, there are 3 main areas. The first being demographics, which on TikTok you get very similar demographical options in terms of age and gender and location that you can do on most, if not all, platforms. The second and the most interesting would be interest and interactions. You can target based on interest in a number of platforms, but what will set TikTok apart is the interactions. So you can target individuals based on creator and hashtag interactions. The creator interaction aspect would be quite unique to TikTok. With hashtags, that's a similar feature to what we see on apps like Twitter, where you can target individuals based on their interaction with or publishing of key phrases, keywords, hashtags. But TikTok takes this a step further by almost having something similar to follower accounts, where you're trying to target individuals who are falling within a certain creator's audience base. And lastly, you can target by device type. You can target by iOS or Android on a fair amount of platforms, but TikTok is more in-depth with their device targeting. And I'm going to highlight some key differences that fall under those targeting options. The first of which would be age. While on Facebook, you can only target individuals who are 18 years or older, on TikTok, you can actually target the age 13 to 17 demographic as well, which ties into the the kind of ethos of of TikTok being for mostly a younger demographic, which, yes, 70% of users do fall within 16 to 24, as I mentioned. However, nearly 30% are older than 25. And when you take into account that TikTok has over 1 billion users, this means that there's roughly 300 million individuals older than 25 using the platform on a regular basis, which is a massive audience size that can't be ignored. Second would be connection type, and this falls under the device sphere of things. On Facebook in particular, you can target users who are exclusively on Wi-Fi connections. However, on TikTok, you can target this as well as different types of cell connections, such as 2G, 3G, and 4G, which in our eyes is quite substantial if you're trying to target competitor events. For example, let's say you have a tech conference and there's a competitor tech conference that is taking place in a different city. You could say target individuals who are on 3G and 4G connection and not Wi-Fi. You could target them during certain hours or just in general. If, say, they're out for lunch and they're not going to be on the Wi-Fi that's handed to them at the event venue, they're more likely to be on apps like TikTok during the off hours when they're not engaged with the content at that conference. So that could be a potentially powerful type of targeting on a competitor level. And lastly is device price, which, as I mentioned, you can target Android versus iOS or both on many platforms, including Facebook. However, on TikTok, you can segment by market value of the device in question. And you can also segment by carrier, or in the UK, they'd say by provider. This could be a quite powerful targeting option if you're in more of a tech space as well, something on a B2B level, where where you might not want competitor devices to be targeted, or you might want them to be targeted. And all of this leads into the TikTok ads themselves. On the right, we have another example of a TikTok ad. As I said before, you want to make sure that that CTA is visible, both in terms of it will appear on the bottom for users to click, but also within the video itself. It's quite important considering that your text is often going to be secondary to the video. It's not what users are paying attention to. And as I've mentioned, TikTok can create a fake page for you, similar to how this is done on Instagram. Now, there are a number of key benefits that come with running TikTok ads compared to other platforms. And so now I want to stop and pause and take a bit of a read from the audience on this. What do you think the benefits of TikTok are? I talk about a couple coming up, but there are a couple that I might not have thought of, or something that you think would be beneficial to having these ads run. Engaging content, that is certainly a major benefit, yes. Large amount of users, that is also correct. Yes, those large users does equate to a lot of broad reach, wider audience, platform where people are wanting to engage with video. Looking short videos keeps people interested in attention catching, ease engagement. These are all great points so far. I want to also highlight the keeping people interested. That's one of the overall benefits of video in any social platform, but because TikTok is almost exclusively video, that factor is increasingly heightened. So that is why the content on TikTok is the most important feature. And less competition, tapping into a new target audience, bringing humanization to a brand. That's quite interesting. especially because we want that creative to be very genuine. You want it to have more of a human element to it, less kind of a corporate feel as you can get with, say, LinkedIn. Partnering with influencers with large reach, yes, that is also huge on TikTok, especially with larger consumer brands. A lot of influencer campaigns are done on the platform. It's very innovative, convey lots of information in a short space of time. It's also true. Yeah, so all of these are really good points. It all feeds into what I'm about to talk about as well, which is quite good to see. Oh, we got one more person typing here. All right, yes. So, as a couple of you said, TikTok, you can really take advantage of that large user base. I mentioned already there's over 1 billion users globally. And those numerous users is going to equate to a lot of reach and engagement, especially because of the nature of video and TikTok as a platform in terms of how their video content is structured and the goals and general aesthetic of TikTok. That's going to lead naturally to higher engagement. And especially if you're targeting a broad audience, you're going to get a lot of eyes on your ads. And oftentimes those ads are going to have do a better job of pulling users in than something like a traditional single image on Facebook. It's also an excellent choice for mobile-friendly site conversions. Because TikTok is exclusively an app, if your site is tailored towards mobile as well as desktop, if you have a registration conversion, for example, and you get a mobile-friendly version of that, and your content is engaging, all those factors can combine into a very, very, very good campaign for you. Versus if your registration is not very mobile-friendly or there's a lot of steps to it, then that might not be the best choice for TikTok. As I said, yes, it's a strong choice for mobile-friendly site conversions. It's already over 1 billion users in numerous data. And I touched on this earlier, but the average costs on TikTok are quite good compared to other platforms. I might have already hinted at it, but I want you to guess which of these rectangles contains the CPC and CPM on average for TikTok. If you've guessed the left, you're correct. The average CPC in US dollar on TikTok via Jungle Top is 19 cents, with CPM being increased to $1.82, compared to Facebook, where this is 0.46 cents per click and a cost per 1,000 impressions of $6.73. I've already mentioned that TikTok is a fantastic engagement platform, and this is highlighted both in terms of the raw numbers and the costs it takes to achieve those numbers. The video form factor can also not be ignored. I've touched upon it multiple times, but it is the single most important element of TikTok. And I've got an example video from one of the ad campaigns we are currently running. So I'm going to play this. Now, apologies for the video quality on that, but as you can see, there are a couple key things I want to highlight there. The first being that, and I'm going to play this again so I can pause it on that. You can see that the video is front and center, but you're also getting key points across via text, but that text is not taking away your eyes from the video and the content itself. The little rectangle there is transparent. Your text is not bold and overpowering to the content. And that is one of the most powerful ways to take advantage of the video medium. You also get quick, snappy cuts to keep your users engaged. you're not using talking heads, you're creating content that users would want to see, and that is incredibly crucial. However, the video kind of medium can also be a challenge if your video is not adequately equipped to be compatible with TikTok. If you just upload any video onto the platform and you don't take a minute to consider whether or not users would actively engage with it, that's when you get problems on the platform. I've seen this happen with content that has quite a lot of heavy text, or the text is going to be blocked by the elements of TikTok's platform, or they're not uploading it in the correct aspect ratio. All of those things can factor to an unsuccessful TikTok campaign. And lastly, one of the key advantages is that mobile-friendly nature of TikTok. This is an example where you get the beginning of a video on the left, and on the right, this is the end of the video, where you get your call to action being displayed in bold. The goal here is for an app download. You see that the app name and the details would appear over the download button. You have the engagement stats, like your likes, comments, and your shares on the right with your profile image. And still the content is front and center. You're wanting to lend users to that call to action, but you also can't sacrifice your video for it. And that can be a challenge with the mobile-friendly nature of TikTok. But if it's done right, if you're not distracting from that genuine content, then you will have a successful campaign. And I'm going to open it up to questions now. However, I wanted to end off by saying something, repeating TikTok's main ethos, that you don't want to just create videos, you want to create TikToks. And if your content's engaging, if you're not distracting from your messaging, if you're not distracting from the video, if you're kind of combining those two in a way that makes sense for TikTok, and if you're genuinely wanting to both be informative to users and entertaining, then you will have a successful campaign. So, question here: can you use images, or is it just video? I've pretty much exclusively talked about video during the course of this webinar, but you can actually use images on TikTok. It's just that you can only use them in conjunction with partner sites, like partner news sites that are on TikTok's audience network. When you're going just to TikTok itself, that's video only. To decide if TikTok's right for you, cases where it wouldn't be right. So TikTok is right for you in a case where you have, well, I guess it would be better to talk about cases in which it wouldn't be right. So if you have kind of very niche media, I would say that TikTok is probably not the best choice. Cases where TikTok tends to work well are in B2B shows with a lot of potential to reach an audience. If you're limited by scope, then TikTok is not the best. But if you have a show that can be quite broadly appealing, it doesn't have to be that this is a B2C thing, but B2B shows that their users are going to be more engaged with their content versus marking this on their calendars like, oh, it's the event we go to, then TikTok will be right in those cases. Industries that I think TikTok would work best for B2B. I can give you a few examples in terms of what tag are currently running for TikTok. Two industries I can think of off the top of my head would be like interior design, interior decorating, and kind of garden and home. Those two we've tended to see work really well on TikTok. These are both B2B focused shows. in the TikTok suite that we're running on TikTok. They're B2B, but their subject matter, which can be broadly appealing, in that users could be possibly following these subjects outside of a B2B perspective as well. And so these kind of industries, something where there's also kind of broad consumer appeal as well as a B2B appeal, those tend to do really well on TikTok. How detailed can the targeting for TikTok ads be? You can get fairly targeted on TikTok as you can with any platform. In terms of a business side of things, you're always going to see LinkedIn be the most targeted. You could target anything from member groups to job titles to job functions to member skills. There's a number of industry-related things that you can target on LinkedIn, but that doesn't mean that TikTok is not good for detailed targeting. As I said, you can target demographics, you can target user follows, you can target hashtag interactions. So especially if your show uses a lot of specific hashtags or terms, then you can target those both nichely and broadly. So that's one way that you can be quite targeted with the platform. And the other is within your creator follows, as I mentioned. If you have an industry where there are a couple key influencers within it, and they happen to be on TikTok, I would wholly recommend doing that. You can go kind of broad interest, and that is a bit less targeted, but you can still get fairly targeted. I would say it's about as targeted as Facebook's interest matching. However, as I said, if you do have an industry with key influencers in it, then TikTok could be very powerful, and you can really get. That's how you can get the right crowd, especially because these niche influencers can sometimes be very specifically targeted. Yes, if I've not answered any questions that you have, you can email me at drew@tagdigital.co.uk, and I'll make sure to get back to you, or as a tag and get back to you. So thank you everyone who tuned in. It was great sharing my knowledge of TikTok with you, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.